children, I hope you have gone through my previous video, and today we will continue further. Today we will be studying about Mendel's experiments on inheritance. Gregor John Mendel was an Austrian monk who conducted breeding experiments on garden pea. Scientific name is Pisum sativum, and his findings became a milestone in biology. Now, why did Mendel choose garden pea? One of the reasons was that many varieties were available in alternative form of a character. Alternative form means opposite, like a tall dwarf, round yellow, wrinkled, yellow green. So these were the alternative forms. Second, varieties were available in pure forms that bred true. That is, the same type generation was produced year after generation after generation. Like if a plant was tall, then every time that plant, in every generation for next 3-4 generations, the plant produced tall plants only. So we knew that this plant was pure for tall. Peas normally have self-pollination, but self-pollination can be prevented by removing the corresponding reproductive parts. Like from one plant, the male reproductive part, stem or stamen, was removed, and from the other, the female reproductive part or the carpel was removed, and then these plants were artificially pollinated to see the results. Now in pea plant, there are 7 pairs of contrasting features as shown by this figure. Now let us see what are the 7 pairs. Flower color, purple color is dominant, white color is recessive. Seed color, yellow color is dominant, green color seeds are recessive. Seed shape, round shape is dominant, wrinkled shape is recessive. Pod color, pod is the covering of the seeds inside which the seeds are present. Green color is dominant, yellow color is recessive. Pod shape, inflated shape is dominant, constricted shape is recessive. Position of the flowers, if they are present in the axil of leaf, they are called as axillary flowers, they are dominant, and terminal flowers are recessive. Plant height, if the plant is tall, it is dominant, and if it is dwarf, it is recessive. So these 7 contrasting characters could be seen in a single plant. So it gave Mendel an opportunity to carry out various crosses and come to his conclusions or findings. So that is why he chose garden pea or Pisum sativum. Now you know that a monohybrid cross is a cross between 2 pure breeding different varieties of organisms taking alternative traits of one single character at a time. So let us see through few examples. The first example is a plant having terminal flower and a plant which was pure breeding for axillary flower. In the first generation, it was found that all the plants that were formed, they all had axillary flowers. Then the 2 plants of F1 generation or the first generation, F1 generation stands for first filial generation, they were taken and pollinated with each other. So there it was found that in the F2 generation, second generation, they gave 1 homozygous axillary flower plant, 2 heterozygous axillary flower plant, and 1 homozygous terminal flower plant. So the phenotypically, when you looked at the external characteristics, you found 3 plants having axillary flowers and 1 plant having terminal flower. So the phenotypic ratio was 3:1. But if you look at the genotype, 1 had capital A, 2 had capital A small a, and 1 had small a small a. So the genotypic ratio was 1:2:1. Next example which he took was where the parents, in one of the parent was pure tall and the other was pure dwarf. Since tall is the dominant character, the genes are shown as capital T, and for dwarf small t. In the first generation, when a cross was done, all the offsprings, they had the genotype capital T, small t, and all were tall, but the tall were hybrid tall or heterozygous tall. Then 2 from the first generation were taken as parents and they were crossed, and it was found that 3 of them were tall and one was dwarf. So phenotypic ratio was 3:1. But if again when you look at the genotype, one had capital T, 2 had capital T small t, and one had small t. So genotype again was 1:2:1. Let us take a third example. In the third cross, the parents were for round seeds and wrinkled seeds. Round being the dominant character, the genes are written as capital R, and for wrinkled, because it is the recessive character, genes are written as small r. In the first generation, all the offsprings had the genes capital R, small r, and all the seeds were round. Then 2 from the first generation were taken and they were crossed with each other. In the second generation, there were 3 plants having round seeds and 1 plant having wrinkled seeds. So this showed that the phenotypic ratio was 3:1. But if you looked at the genes, one was capital R, 2 were capital R, small r, and 1 was small r. Again, the genotypic ratio was 1:2:1. So some general principles were arrived at based on these breeding experiments. First was that each pair of contrasting character depends on a pair of genes. Each individual carries such genes in duplicate. An individual produces gametes or sex cells which have only one member of a pair of genes. See over here, it has produced capital R, small r, capital R, small r. In this case, capital R, small r, small r. So gametes are singly present. Fertilization of the gametes restores the duplicate condition of the genes, and the sex cells with respect to the genes they contain get fertilized at random. Okay. Now next is dihybrid ratio. Dihybrid ratio gives us the breeding results with 2 pairs of contrasting characters, and this ratio is 9:3:1. This is the phenotypic ratio, and it can be understood by the following cross. Let us see a cross. You have seen 3 crosses of monohybrid ratio. We will now see a cross of dihybrid ratio. Now for dihybrid ratio, Mendel took a pea plant with 2 contrasting characters at the same time. So in his plant, he had one plant which had round and yellow seeds and another plant which had wrinkled and green seeds. Round is dominant, wrinkled is the recessive, and yellow is dominant and green is the recessive trait. So the genotype of round and yellow was capital R, capital Y, and wrinkled green was small r, small y. In the F1 generation, first generation, it was found that all the plants which were produced had round and yellow seeds, but the genotype was capital R, small r, capital Y, small y. They were all heterozygous. Now 2 of these first generation were taken as parents and their gametes were formed. See the gametes. Gametes were capital R, capital Y, capital R, small r, capital Y, and small r, small y. These are the only 4 possible combinations which can be formed from these: capital R, capital Y, small y. Now same over here, we took the 4th gametes and we crossed them. This type of a box which is used for showing the test cross, that is called as the Punnett box. So when you will cross, you will get in the phenotypic ratio, you will get 9 which are round and yellow, 3 which are round and green, 3 which are wrinkled and yellow, and 1 which is wrinkled and green. Total you see 4 and 4. So you will get 16 options, 16 plants out of which 9 were round and yellow, 3 were round and green, 3 wrinkled yellow, and 1 wrinkled and green. This I am telling you the phenotype, not the genotype. The genotype is very complex. No need for you to learn the genotype. There's two kinds of ratio in the two kinds hybridization are. In monohybrid ratio, in F2 generation, phenotypic ratio is 3:1, genotypic ratio is 1:2:1. In dihybrid ratios, in F2 generation, phenotypic ratio is 9:3:3:1, and genotypic ratio is too complex. No need for you to learn. It has never been asked in the ICSE exam. And in case it is asked, you can make a Punnett square like this and count for yourself. Alright, you no need to remember it. You will definitely make a mistake if you try to learn it by heart. But till date, it has never been asked in the exam. Now let us proceed further with Mendel's laws on inheritance. Now Mendel gave 3 laws of inheritance. First law is called as law of dominance, then the law of segregation, and the third one is law of independent assortment. Law of dominance says that out of a pair of contrasting characters present together, only one is able to express itself while the other remains suppressed. What does it mean? That in a cross of parents that are pure for contrasting traits, only one form of the trait will appear in the next generation. Like if it is tall and dwarf, only tall will appear. And offsprings that are hybrid for a trait will have only the dominant trait in the phenotype. Like I told you, in the first generation, they all had the genotype capital T, small t. But what was physically visible was tallness. So only the dominant trait was visible in the phenotype. This is the meaning of law of dominance. The second law is the law of segregation. It is also called as law of purity of gametes. It states that two members of a pair of factors separate during formation of gamete. They do not blend or mix with each other but separate into different gametes and then combine at random to form zygote. See over here, if there are two members, capital Y, small y, so they will separate into two gametes. One gamete will have capital Y, other will have small y, and again they will fuse at random. If there are more than 2 or 4 or 6, then they will fuse irrespective of the other one. Now third law is the law of independent assortment. It says when there are two pairs of characters, the distribution of alleles of one character into the gamete is independent of the distribution of the alleles of the other character. What is the meaning of this? See, I showed you a cross. Let us go back to that cross and let me explain to you from this cross. Here, if you look at this cross, the dihybrid cross which I showed you, here when the gametes were formed, see, one was capital R, capital Y. Now the second one was capital R, small y. Although this is capital, but this can be small. The other was small r, capital Y. It is the whether the first character was round and the other character was yellow. Now here, whether the round is capital R or small r, wrinkled hai, the seed is wrinkled or round does not have any impact on whether it will be yellow or green. Round is also yellow, round is also green, and here round is wrinkled is also having yellow and wrinkled is also having green. So the assortment into gametes is not dependent. It's not if it is capital, so one is capital, one dominant trait is there, the other trait will also, other character will also be only dominant, the other character can be recessive. So independently they assort in at the time of gamete formation. So these are the laws of Mendel's, and they enable us to they give us an idea about the new combinations in the progeny of hybrid, and enable us to predict their frequency. How many new types will be there, that we can predict from before itself. And new type of plants with new combination of genes can be produced by using these laws. Now next thing which you have to study about is mutations. Now what are mutations? It is a sudden change in one or more genes or in the number or structure of chromosomes. Mutation alters the hereditary material of an organism cell and results in change of characters or trait. For example, sickle cell anemia is a blood disease caused by gene mutation. It causes change in DNA resulting in production of RBCs which are sickle shaped. Sickle Hasia it is called. And then second example is radioactive radiations also alter the gene structure, and their effect can be seen generation after generation. For example, in case of the World War II in 1945 in Japan, when Hiroshima and Nagasaki were exposed to atomic radiations, and it led to number of deformities in the body of plants and animals which are still persisting till today. Okay, so this completes your chapter genetics, and I want you to go through the chapter properly and do all the questions given in your book behind this chapter. Okay, and in next turn we'll take up a new chapter. Thank you.